What's his name? What's his number? Okay, well this...
Okay.
Got it. This press conference is about to start, so I gotta let you go, but I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye. Of course, the Spartanburg County Chaplain will be Amos. Seriously.
I'm live on broadcast just so everybody's aware of what's going on.
Thank you.
He's not watching. But I even watch this. He's probably doing his Spanish.
Oh, it's for everybody else to hear. Everybody else can hear us talking.
Really? They won't know who he is.
It's like never really understand if you never play so much every day.
No, he's been pretty. I've been showing him the Italian, so he's not changing it.
You heading there or you been there?
Well, I've been there and I'm heading back. Probably soon now.
It was our Christmas time.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going in December.
Good time.
I think that makes a difference, right? They're already heading.
I don't know. That change? Yeah.
Is it a spot you've been here before?
No.
What's there good?
It's a nice village, and I hadn't been there before, and I was looking for a place to live, so.
Some people go across to, the coast or the Dalmatian.
Yeah, you can go there on holiday, yeah. My wife has a friend who lives in Croatia, so it's the Croatian eugenics. Still
Most beautiful thing on the
you
see in front of you?
He's coming
no.
It's okay. It's okay.
Are you getting his questions? Tapping on the shoulder off.
It was at Christmas time, and then there was an American killed. It's a girl. I think it was Ashley Olsen. It was an artist. I got killed. I was trying to get primers or something.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't do it. They said, oh.
Well, when I moved there, I'll need to bring a small pack with me. So. Not officially.
But you can fly out of there. The front lines in Syria, for instance.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure
good question. I don't know.
Oh,
Depends.
this way. Feel that?
Did the guy from Channel 4 come and get into technical difficulties?
We had.
Got you all the way down?
If you don't mind. I saw him walking
Yeah,
out.
I agreed to give him 5 minutes.
Let's check it out.
Not yet. Not yet. We're gonna have to go ahead and get started. Well, I mean, it was sometime back, but probably the email, so.
Just so y'all know, most everybody in here is live streaming. Just be aware.
Well, I want to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough.
Yes. Yeah, I got some. Other things we want to,
Trying to get one of my eyes open. There we go.
other things we want to get into now, Mr. Clevenger, about the
So early
science
today,
behind it
so-
or anything?
I'm sorry?
Are you willing to get into anything now, with like the science
No,
behind things?
probably not gonna go into a whole lot of that.
Is your anthropologist with you? Are you using the same one from Greenville?
I had 2 out there.
Really?
Yes. Is one of them at Clemson? She's not.
This camera's on, by the way. I'm not sure you need the camera. Yeah, this camera's on. He's probably in the truck watching it. It's framed up.
I don't think he's in the truck watching it. He had some technical difficulties. He's trying to make sure that this broadcast is okay.
Is it K-O-H-L?
Yes, KOHL.
Keep spelling it K-E-L.
HEPP. Nice introduction story.
Oh, maybe you can be a spokesperson.
Apparently there's another called Kohlhepp who lives in New York or New Jersey who's an advertising
Shoals
agent.
and tarps.
Or does PR1, it's one of those two.
You see that Lucy where she went to the other coroner's office and they opened the door and took her where they keep the bodies? And they had, that particular day, I think they had 379 bodies. And the capacity was 550. And it was packed with bodies in that thing.
No, I didn't see that.
Most amazing things I've ever seen.
Was that on TV?
Yeah,
I don't watch
just a week
TV.
ago.
I
And
just
all
make
these,
this
all
stuff.
these toe tags and all these
Yeah.
people, and some of them covered with plastic, some not.
I've seen them before, but yeah, that's a big shop there.
Well, and it changes from day to day. You know,
I'm sure.
They got people running for a while. You know, they only stay 2 or 3 days at the most.
No, it depends on if they're getting evidence.
It's extraordinary. I mean, I've been in the corner once and they had 10 bodies, but never
Right.
with that.
They probably have 54,000 names, you know, now on this list.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking for
I shot a lot of
10 or something.
Dr. G. microexaminer. That's the hot. The worst was when they were doing autopsies on kids.
That'll already be the same.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm.
I'd already on things.
My lawyer was about the same age, he just told me they were.
Who are you with?
Me?
Yeah,
Who are you with?
I'm with Channel 7,
Daddy Mo.
Daily Mail. Whew. Somebody said that you should start asking all the questions because they love your accent.
Oh, really? I don't know if people understand me off this line.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, call a press conference to release the names of the 2 decedents, the last 2 decedents that were pulled from the property on Wofford Road. course, everybody recognizes Lieutenant Bobo with the Sheriff's Office. We were able to do examinations, extensive examinations all day yesterday, and based on information we were able to provide and be able to confirm with family members, which we spoke to this morning. One of the decedents is Megan Lee McCraw Coxey. She's a white female, 25 years of age. She lived on Shaylin Drive here in Spartanburg. Her body was discovered on the 6th of November. Her body was removed on the 7th of November. The cause of death listed is pending currently, but preliminary information reveals a gunshot wound to the head. More testing will be performed. And then the second decedent's name, which is actually her husband, is Johnny Joe Coxey. He's a white male, 29 years of age. His address is the same as hers, Shaylin Drive here in Spartanburg. He was the last body that we discovered, and it was on the 7th of November. He was also removed on the 7th of November. His cause of death is pending, but preliminary information reveals gunshot wounds to the torso, and more testing will be performed on him as well. Basically, that's the information. You know, my responsibility is the identification, cause, and manner. Of course, giving the information here once the case is ready to be closed, I'm definitely prepared to say this is definitely a homicide. No question. Yes, Megan, M-E-A-G-A-N, and I'm going to provide you with, you know, a spelling and whatnot. But does that help you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Pass it across.
How long have they been there?
A post-mortem interval on especially burials is a wide open window. The science of that, you asked me about the science, is fairly broad for a reason. It's kind of problematic to try and narrow that down real definitively, but information that we've been able to obtain was approximately 11 months as far as the burial.
What about death, so can you put any time on that, when they were actually shot?
No, sir. There's no way of putting an exact time of death on that. It just has to be reported between, you know, the dates that were found and dates last seen or someone spoke to them.
And what type of weapon was used in terms of firearm or bullet?
Have no idea. There's going to have to be testing on evidence that we were able to recover, but right now I wouldn't want to speculate on that as well.
How many shots were in each of the bodies?
I'm not prepared to say exactly how many at this time. My anthropologists are actually doing some reconstruction for me to assist to make sure that that number is correct, and I'm not prepared to give that exact number at this time.
Were the bodies intact?
Yes.
This may be more so a question for Kevin, but were they reported missing at any point?
I can get into that a little bit.
To answer your question, Brianna, and make sure we got full disclosure here, when you say intact, there were some portions of the body where we're not able to recover, just to let you know. But as far as the, you know, percentage-wise, I'm not prepared to get into that, but I'm not going to mislead you and say 100% on both were recovered.
Portions of the body like limbs missing? Generally, what do you mean?
Well, I really don't want to get into that because the sheriff still has an open investigation as well. But I don't have 100% of both bodies. I'm going to say that.
We saw investigators yesterday with bags and buckets out on the scene. Was that part of the identification process of these bodies, and is that why maybe it took a little longer to identify them?
No, sir. That's a furtherance of the investigation, and basically that's just good police work on the part of the sheriff and the rest of the agencies helping follow up there. They're sifting through dirt that would have been around the remains just to make sure that there's no other evidence there.
Coxey is spelled different for the two of them. Was it C-O-X-E-Y or X-I-E?
It should be C-O-X-I-E.
Okay.
My apologies.
Sir, in general terms, how were they identified? Was there identification on the body? Was it dental records in general terms?
I have dental records on one, but the best way of identification was through extensive tattoos on both bodies. Those tattoos, pictures of those tattoos, and I'm not meaning of them being deceased, but I was able to obtain pictures of the tattoos with them in life, and I asked the families to confirm that, and based on that confirmation and what we discovered, that's how and I'm talking about extensive tattoos, not just one or two, but there were extensive tattoos that we were able to match up to both bodies.
And who was the last person to have talked to these people and when?
I'm
Tell me that in general terms.
No, sir, I'm unaware of that. That would be the sheriff's purview as far as that's concerned.
Did you have an idea going into this investigation who these people were? Had he told you who they were?
He hadn't told me, but the sheriff, of course, his men have spoke to him, and I'll let Lieutenant Bobo go into that.
So were both these bodies fully clothed, and was there any sign of any sexual attack at all?
Well, given the state that they were in, a determination of any sexual, question probably wouldn't be an area that I'd be able to address, and yes, they were clothed.
Where exactly in the property were these bodies found?
They were, as one would drive, where you guys have been camped out at the fence. They were essentially straight back and to the right, just a little bit. And you guys have, there've been numerous helicopters and planes flying over, but it was a small distance from where you guys were at, but it wasn't very deep in the property in relation to what I know about the total acreage there.
So it wasn't near the container where Caleb Brown was found?
Yes, sir. It was not far from the container.
How deep were these graves in comparison to what Charlie was in?
I'm not going to go into the exact depth, but we did record, of course, part of our process would have been to be able to reconstruct if need be, but it was considerable. I mean, you guys saw us digging out there, and the dirt was fairly hard, so that's why it took us a while to get them extracted.
What is it like to do your job this time? I know you guys have been very busy, but what has been the biggest challenge that you have, day by day with something new here?
Well, as far as the challenge, been at this a long time, but the challenge really isn't what I'm thinking about when I'm there. It was the family that I addressed and my investigator addressed. We went simultaneously to both families this morning and be able to give them some answers. It's bad news, but also they have questions that we're able to give them answers to. So to answer your question, this isn't a run-of-the-mill case. It never has been. We've had burials before, but had true professionals in here assisting us with it to make sure we were doing it the best way possible so we could gain all the evidence. And then hopefully, if we have to go to court, it will be rewarding later on.
What was the reaction of the families?
Understandable remorse and extreme grief. One family had no clue. They didn't know there was an association, and one had been wondering about it since all this broke last week.
What city do the families live in? Where are these folks from?
The address that you have here is where this couple lived here in Spartanburg. The family of the female decedent lives here in Spartanburg. The family of the male decedent lives out of town. And I will tell you that both families asked me that the press respect their need for privacy right now. They're grieving, and I did tell them that I would express that to you. Yes, sir.
How much major processing is left out there?
Well, of course, my processing is complete now that I have the bodies, but I'll let Lieutenant Bobo address that question as far as the sheriff's angle is concerned.
Did the couple have children?
I've been told that there is one child in common with these two individuals, yes.
Has that child been accounted for?
I know the sheriff's office was checking on that today, but we have been made aware of, that child's, location and presence.
So along with these two bodies, very tragically, was there anything in the graves themselves might give you a clue what went on? Was like handbags or, some of the possessions they may have had?
Well, we collected everything that we could find down to the sifting, and there were some minute things that we found during the sifting. But as far as a total accounting, we will have to take the findings once from the crime scene itself and basically do a comparison with the solicitor whenever it comes to the information that Lieutenant Bobo and the sheriff's men have been able to come up with, and we'll let them do that. I'm going to ask Lieutenant Bobo to come up because we're fielding a lot of questions about the sheriff's angle, and I want him to be able to address those.
Just to fill in some blanks, and I hope this is the last time we're before you. Miss McGraw's mother had reported the couple as missing persons to us back in December of last year. Both of them had just been recently released from jail earlier that month. The female had told her mother that she had gotten a job and had asked the mother to bond her out of jail so she could go work this job, and her mother agreed to that. And then the mother reported them missing to us on December the 22nd of 2015. I believe Megan got released from jail or arrested on December the 15th of 2015. It was unlike Megan not to stay in contact with her mother. So once mother had tried multiple times and was unsuccessful, that's when she filed a missing persons report with us. Both had a history, and I'm trying to not to speak ill of the deceased by any means, but both had a history of panhandling, around like I-26 and Regal Road in an effort to make money. But leads in their missing case, were few and far between. After the mother reported them missing to us, both had warrants come out on them for various offenses. And then Saturday, when Todd Kohlhepp reinitiated contact with us, he called both of them by name, and that's when he was seen on the property because he was pointing out their gravesite.
Do we know at this point, I know you guys had mentioned that there may not be any more bodies on the property. Are we still pretty sure of that at this time, or is there still going to be a thorough search of that property?
We feel at this time we have done a thorough search, and I believe after the containers were moved today, we're still going to have a deputy guarding that scene. But as far as anybody processing that acreage right now, that part for now is going to be over unless something else comes up and we need to go back out there. And let me clear up something that occurred yesterday. I believe some people thought we had brought him back out to the scene yesterday because they saw the backhoe back out there, and that was not the case at all. The reason the backhoe was there was to fill in the grave sites for these two individuals we're discussing today, and so that we could remove that container that we took out of there today. That's the only reason the backhoe was back there yesterday.
Is there any other active investigation?
I can't listen to three people at the same time. So let's.
Thank you. Mr. What was Mr. Kohlhepp's connection, as far as you know at this stage, with the deceased couple?
That we don't know.
How do they come to know each other? Or how do they come to be on the phone?
That we don't know.
Is there a connection between them and Charlie Carver and Kayla Brown that you guys know of yet?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
So what
Is there any other active investigation on other Kohlhepp properties or any other site related to Todd Kohlhepp going on now?
I'm sure there is, but exactly where, I don't know, and not that we're going to share the locations of other properties.
Are y'all involved with these investigations?
Yes, sir.
Has he given you guys any indication there could be other bodies in other places?
As far as I'm aware, no.
So the offences of the deceased couple, were they just minor offences, nothing really worth registering? I mean, what were the offences? The warrants were out for them.
I think the warrants on him were for master's court offenses, and the one on her was for a general sessions offense.
Sir, am I incorrect in remembering that Kayla Brown said that there were 4 bodies that were told to her that were on the property?
Correct.
We found 3.
Correct.
Is there still one more to go, or was she incorrect?
When she made that statement, it's my understanding, that was right after she had been recovered. So, and I don't know if that's something he may have told her to keep her compliant. But right now, we think we have found any deceased that should be there.
The child of them is accounted for?
Yes.
Will you run cadaver dogs back out there one more time, just to see?
I would have to ask our investigators. I don't know.
Did he mention why he had picked this couple, or why this couple was targeted or killed?
I really can't go into that.
Is he going to be formally charged with the murder of Charlie Carver first, and then these two as well?
At some point, our investigators are in constant, communication with the solicitor's office, and at the appropriate time. There's no need to rush. At the appropriate time, when they feel like, you're to that point, then warrants will be signed.
So was the deceased lady, was her relationship with Mr.
Sir, I said I don't know.
What could possibly be a delay in charges, though? There's just getting everything together, or is it a matter of investigation, more to collect?
Well, there's no reason to rush. His bond's been denied. He's not going anywhere. So, whether you charge him today or charge him in a few weeks, you want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row.
Was he apprehended on the property or at his home on Thursday?
He was apprehended at his home. I think the sheriff mistakenly misinformed. We hit search warrants simultaneously last Thursday at his residence and at the property. He was at his residence. Investigators were questioning him, and he admitted knowing the couple from Anderson. And then when our investigators on the scene relayed to investigators at his house that they had found Kayla and found her alive, that's when he was arrested.
What's his level of cooperation now?
To be honest, I don't know. As far as I know, it has not changed.
And am I correct? I've heard that the cooperation came because he was allowed to see his mother. He transferred some money to a friend's child's bank account, and he wanted to deliver a certain picture to his mother.
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
The container that was removed from the property today, that is for sure the container that Kayla Brown was kept in?
Correct.
Okay.
Can you tell us more, describing what the inside of that container is like?
No, sir, not at this
There
time.
was a spray painted number on that. Was that just an evidence item number? It was 335. It was spray painted in hot pink.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Where was that item taken?
Not going to release that either.
Have you checked his residence property thoroughly, including the backyard?
Yes, there's no way his residence could hold a container of that size.
No. Or any bodies that may be buried on the property?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, yes, sir.
How would you say that as a complete sentence, that what you've done there on that property in searching it?
We have searched his property and his residence. I think we have released his residence, and we're going to keep a deputy on his property in Woodruff indefinitely.
How's Miss Brown doing, sir?
I have no idea. I hadn't heard. Yes, sir.
Have you talked to Kayla Brown, and if you have, what is her reaction about these findings? Do you know?
Sir, I haven't spoken with her.
Do you know if she is still in the hospital recovering, or is she?
It's my understanding she's out of the hospital.
She's out of the hospital.
Yes, sir.
How could a 2003 case in Chesney be related to Todd Kohlhepp and these more recent events, apparently more recent?
I don't know that they are related other than him.
Are you uncomfortable with the fact that there's a big gap in time there?
That's part of the ongoing investigation.
Can you talk about the amount of weapons that were found on his property?
No, ma'am.
Volume size?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any indications whether or not Kohlhepp supplied Coxie or any of her family with drugs or anything like that?
I don't have that information. Yes, ma'am.
The mother had agreed that she could come out on jail for a job. Did the mother talk to the daughter who died, who you've identified? Did she talk about what job she was doing? Is there any information from the mom about where she was going to do a job?
Not that I'm aware of, no, ma'am.
I mean, she's out. She took a bond out on her out of jail to do a job. Did I misunderstand that?
No. Megan asked her mother to bond her out because she had a job lined up. What type of job, I don't know.
So the mom has no idea what job it was?
No, ma'am.
And did that child have any connection to the child that Todd
No.
Kohlhepp had referred to
No.
as paying for?
No.
Is this his child? Do we know if it was his child, Todd Kohlhepp, the child in the request that he made in order to?
I don't know the relationship.
We don't know who that child is?
We do.
You do.
Do you know if he has any children?
No, sir, I don't.
One more question, guys.
There was equipment identified at his home. Is there chains and stuff like that? Is there evidence that he could have committed other kidnappings?
We're not going to go into the type of evidence we collected, either at his home or his property.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Oh, Rusty, can you get their date of birth? It's not on here.
Which
Yeah,
filling is-
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, thank you.
And everybody, please make sure and correct the spelling on the last name. It's Coxie, not EY, okay?
I'm sorry, did you have their date of birth?
I'm going to see if I can get that.
Rusty, I may have it right here.